Good morning, guys. I'm going to switch to the document camera and we're going to be going over the 1-2 properties of real numbers. So let's give it just a second. Here we go. Let me zoom out so we can see what we're doing here a little bit better. Okay, we're going to kind of try something new today and see how it goes. You'll have to let me know. Okay, so this is Miss Wilson. You'll write your name here. Today's date is 8/25/2020. You're one of the 8th grade classes. And then this is topic 1.2, properties of real numbers. So we're going to discuss all of these different types of properties and what they mean and examples of them. Set up correctly. Okay. So for the commutative property, I think about your commute back and forth to work or school. This is talking about the path that you take, the order of values does not matter. Okay, so this is where you change the order it is written in. Change order written in. Okay, this applies for addition and multiplication. No subtraction or division. Okay, it is only multiplication and addition. So examples of this would be A plus B is the same as B plus A, if you're looking at letters. Or 2 plus 3 is the same as 3 plus 2. Both of them give you the answer of 5. That's for addition. For multiplication, if you have 5 times 4, that gives you 20, but so does 4 times 5. Applying with variables, x times y is the same as y times x. So again, it's just changing the order that the numbers are written in, and it only applies to addition and multiplication. And that's called the commutative. Commute, your commute, the path. You can take different paths to work or school, but you still end up at school. The associative property, it's associative. I think of that as like an association, a group of things. So this is concerning the grouping of values, does not matter. You change what's inside the symbols, the grouping symbols. So here you change inside of parentheses. It's any grouping symbol. Okay. Again, it's only addition or multiplication. No subtraction or division. So examples, if I have A plus B in parentheses plus C, that I can get the same answer if I rearrange that to be A plus B plus C in parentheses. If I have 5 plus 1 in parentheses plus 3, that will give me the same answer as 5 plus 1 plus 3 in parentheses. And the way that works out is we end up here. So I'll kind of show you this one real quick. We get 6 plus 3, which gives me 9. Here I'm going to have 5 plus 4. And notice they both give me an answer of 9. Now we'll see what that looks like if it's multiplication. Okay, I'm going to have to kind of just make this a little bit shorter. So we would have A times B in parentheses times C equals A times B times C in parentheses. That's with the variables. When it's numbers, we would have 2 times 4 times 7 equals 2 times in the parentheses 4 times 7. Remember, you can pause these as you go to make sure that you keep up with the writing. That's what's nice about having the video. Identity. For the identity property, that means you think of it as stays the same. Another way is equals itself. So if I have a plus 0, it equals a. 2 plus 0 equals 2. Oh, and this is also, again, addition or multiplication. A lot of these only apply for addition and multiplication. Multiplication, if I do a times 1, it equals a. If I do 3 times 1, it equals 3. Notice it's equal to itself. Okay, when it is either added to 0 or multiplied by 1. That's the identity property. Inverse, okay, that's where you kind of think about opposite. So you're using opposite to cancel a value. So for instance, if I have a plus negative a, that's going to equal 0. If I do 4 plus negative 4, that equals 0. If I do a times 1 over a, that equals 1. Some of you may be like, well, how does that work? Okay, let's look at it with the number. It might make it a little bit easier. So if I do 2 times 1 over 2 equals 1. So to work that means I'm going to do 2 times 1/2 to make the whole number into a fraction. I put it over 1. Remember this, we multiply across and we end up with 2 over 2, which equals 1. All right, next we have the property of 0. We're almost done, guys. The property of 0. You multiply by 0, it always equals 0. Keyword, property of 0. So if I have 17 times 0, it's going to equal 0. If I have a times 0, it's going to equal 0. If I have negative 1 over a times 0, it's going to equal 0. It always equals 0. And last but not least, the distributive property. Distribute, okay, that means we multiply a value to an expression inside parentheses or grouping symbols. For instance, if we have a open parentheses, b plus c, that's going to be the same as ab plus a, ooh, my pen's going out on me, ac. Because I take what's on the outside and I'm multiplying it to everything on the inside. When we're dealing with numbers, example, 2 times x plus 7 equals, if I distribute, I'm doing 2 times x, so that's going to give me 2x. If I'm doing 2 times 7, that's going to give me 14. So that's when it's all positives. Now we're going to kind of throw a little bit of the curveball where we're going to throw in some negatives with this scenario. So I'm going to have negative 5, open parentheses, y minus z. So I'm going to distribute. So that means I'm going to do negative 5 times y. That's going to give me negative 5y. When I multiply here, I'm doing negative 5 times That's a negative z. So I'm doing -5 times negative z. That's going to give me a positive 5z. So we have to pay attention to the integer rules. This covers all of the distributive property. At this point, you're going to go ahead and start working on the classwork. Make sure that if you have questions as you go through, that you type them in the chat and let me know during class, or you can just ask them in the Zoom. Thank you. Hopefully this works well.